Hi, this is Jon Modene with Masters Property Management, RE/MAX Masters, and I want to help you learn about successful investment property strategies in Northwest Ohio. And today's topic for my property management update is it could be upsetting. It's what should you do if your tenant doesn't pay the rent? It's the first week of the month, the rent hasn't come in, now what? And if you own a rental property, this is one of those situations that every landlord deals with eventually. And what you do in the next few days matters a lot, more than you think, because the wrong move will cost you way more than 1 month's rent. And it doesn't matter how well you screened your tenant or how solid your lease is or how great your attorney is. At some point, someone is going to be late and or stop paying or just leave. And when it happens, most landlords do one of two things. They either freeze and let it drag on way too long, hoping it'll work out, or they overreact and do something that actually puts them in legal trouble. Neither one ends well. So let me walk you through a clear step-by-step process that protects you and keeps you on the right side of the law here in Ohio and gives you the best chance of resolving this without turning it into a months-long problem. Number one, start with your lease and a conversation, not a call to an attorney, not yet, because things happen. The check might have really got lost in the mail and they might bring it over the next hour. And actually, the first thing you should do is be very thankful that you own in Ohio and not in California or New York, because in Ohio, tenants who do not pay will soon be former tenants. But before you do anything else, go back to your lease agreement. What does it say about the due date? Is there a grace period? What are the late fee terms? Make sure the rent is actually late before you take action or panic, because the specifics, the written specifics, will determine what your lease does and the rights you have against your tenant. Once you've confirmed it's late, reach out to your tenant. I wouldn't text, I would call. You can text if you want, but we're not talking certified mail. We're talking about a phone call. Sometimes it is a genuine mistake, a bank delay, a payroll problem, a company's gone out of business, they get the money to you right away anyway. I can think of many instances where tenants meant to pay and couldn't pay. And again, we're talking now, even with electronic payments, there can be valid reasons why the payment got lost in the system. And if the tenant answers the phone, communicates, and works with you, you can set something up real easy, real quick, and resolve it without any legal steps. But here's the key. Document everything in writing. With our property management software, everything is documented. With our communications with our tenants, you should do the same thing. Every conversation, every agreement, every text. And if this ends up off the rails in court, that paper trail will be your best friend. Number two, know when to escalate and what your options are. If the tenant isn't responding and the rent stays unpaid, you just leave voicemails, nobody picks up, your call's blocked, it's time to send a formal notice. In most states, this is a written pay or leave notice that gives the tenant a specific number of days, pay what they owe, or move out. The timeline depends on your state. We typically do a 3-day notice here in Ohio, and that generally works for us. Get it wrong, and you could have the entire case thrown out later. Let me tell you what you can't do. You can't show up there with the pass keys and start moving their stuff out on the street. That's breaking and entering. You can go to jail for that. So before you go down that road, read the lease, give them a written notice if they're ignoring your calls or not responding. And you also have the option of a cash for keys agreement where you offer the tenant money to leave voluntarily. Now, we don't normally have to do that in Ohio. I can think of 1 or 2 cases we've done that. It sounds backwards, but it's faster and cheaper than a full eviction. So some of the properties we've taken that haven't had written leases from prior management companies and acquisitions, this is easier to do. But if you get the unit back, cleaned out, and re-rented in 2 weeks instead of 2 months in court, the math works in the favor of that cash for keys plan. Number 3, here's what you can't do. And this is what gets landlords and property owners into serious trouble. No matter how frustrated you are, do not change the locks. Do not shut off the utilities. Do not remove their belongings. Don't force them out yourself. Every state treats this as illegal, even Ohio with our landlord-friendly laws, and it can expose you to lawsuits, fines, penalties that will make your unpaid rent look like chicken feed. The legal eviction process exists for a reason, and if you start down the eviction road and miss or skip or not be able to prove certain things, it's going to backfire on you. You're going to have to start again, and all the while the unpaid rent is adding up. If you follow the steps correctly, serve notices correctly, and the tenant still will not pay or leave, then you file an eviction with the court and let the process play out. You need an attorney for that in most cases. It takes time. It's frustrating, but doing it the right way protects you and protects your asset. And if you're dealing with this right now, or you just want to make sure you're set up to handle it if it ever happens, you can reach out to me. I'll recommend a couple of good eviction attorneys for you. This is something we deal with regularly, and we can either walk you through the options or handle the entire process for you if you hire us as your manager. So just give me a call or send me an email. We'll talk you through your situation. This is fraught with terror and danger for a lot of property owners. So deal with it properly, deal with it correctly. In most cases, you're going to need an attorney. And that's just the only way to handle it. Hey, the real estate market is constantly changing. It never stops, and we do things today in property management for investors that were impossible 20 or 30 years ago. So my team is always changing too and getting ready to help you and your family Get the right help for your investment property. Our team motto is simple: a tradition of trust in Northwest Ohio real estate. This tradition of trust ethos works. It's based on proven biblical concepts like always tell the truth, follow the contract, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, treat others better than you would want to be treated. And we can't wait to help more people buy, sell, manage, and grow their real estate holdings. So thanks for watching. If you need help, if you have real estate questions, if you want to sell or buy or have your property managed, just call me. Jon Modene. I'm at 419-466-SOLD. Check us out at besthomesintoledo.com, modene.com, and for every house and duplex and 4-unit and 8-unit for sale in Toledo, MLStoledo.com. Thanks for watching.